So first of all, Senator, I think I have to congratulate you because there was a lot at stake in this. It wasn't clear what happened. Give us a sense of how you got it done. As I understand, President Biden asked you to intervene.
Well, David, thank you for having me, and it was an extraordinary team effort. I want to commend in particular the United States Trade Representative, Ambassador Catherine Tai, her staff, and she did an extraordinary job bringing this to a successful conclusion. And I got involved because this is a matter of Georgia's economic interest. 2,600 skilled jobs at this SK innovation facility that's being built in Commerce, Georgia. Billions of dollars of investment in Georgia's economy. And this is a strategic investment because we're talking about electric vehicle battery technology. The United States needs a diversified supply chain so that our auto manufacturers can access this technology, so they have a choice of vendors. And we don't want to rely exclusively upon import in order to provide our automotive industry with this electric vehicle battery technology. But there was a significant intellectual property dispute between SK and LG. The options that were apparent were for President Biden to consider a veto of the ruling by the International Trade Commission. That veto would have allowed SK to continue construction of this plant in Georgia, but at the cost of the integrity of our intellectual property legal regime. So I stepped in, the parties were at an impasse, I urged them back to the table. We got a negotiated settlement. LG has withdrawn its complaint at the ITC against SK. SK can continue with construction of this $2.6 billion facility in Commerce, Georgia, and 2,600 Georgians will be employed in skilled jobs producing electric vehicle battery technology.
And Senator, that is where the high drama comes from. I mean, it's in the area of climate that is a priority for the Biden administration. It is electric vehicles, which are terribly important. At the same time, protection of intellectual property is as well. Can you give us some sense of how you reconcile this? Because these two parties have been in dispute for some time. And as I understand it, you're right up against the deadline from the International Trade Commission about banning imports from SK.
That's right. The president had 60 days from the International Trade Commission's judgment to determine whether or not he was going to veto the ITC's ruling. And that put the administration in the unenviable position of having to make a choice between the production of strategic technology in the United States, electric vehicle batteries, which are a vital part of our transition to a clean energy future, a geostrategic technology where we face substantial competition with China, and on the other hand, potentially eroding confidence in intellectual property law in the United States. Because in order for major industries to undertake significant research and development, in order to attract foreign direct investment, there needs to be confidence that intellectual property law in the United States is robust and enforced. That's why a settlement was a vital and necessary solution. The parties are no longer at odds. A payment has been made from SK to LG so that LG withdrew its complaint at the ITC. The intellectual property law regime is intact, and Georgia's going to get these 2,600 skilled jobs. The United States will have a diversified electric vehicle battery supply chain.
Senator, can you give us some sense of how long this settlement will last for? Because obviously SK is investing a lot of money in that plant in Georgia. We would not want to have this dispute come up again in another 3 or 4 years.
No, and look, they would have faced only 2 years in the case of production of one battery component, or 4 years in the case of production of another, before they had to shut this plant completely. Now, this dispute is behind us. The ITC matter has been fully withdrawn. The parties are no longer fighting it out over this intellectual property dispute. SK is continuing with this $2.6 billion investment in Georgia. I believe it's the largest foreign direct investment ever made in the state of Georgia for this plant that will employ so many people producing technology vital to our clean energy transition.
What took it over the top?
A lot of hard work and relentless pressure on both companies to come to a deal. Look, these are two South Korean industrial titans, both of whom have invested many billions of dollars in electric vehicle battery technology. And it took a lot of hard work by a lot of people. And I want to again commend the United States Trade Representative, Ambassador Catherine Tai, for her extraordinary contributions to the efforts to bring these companies to the table, settle the dispute, allow the ITC matter to be put to rest. With just hours left on the clock, President Biden called me on Saturday afternoon, to confirm that the deal had indeed been reached and construction of the facility in Georgia could therefore continue.
So, Senator, this is not to suggest anything at all, but why did the president pick you? What in your background prepared you to get this done?
Well, I don't think the president picked me. Look, I stepped in here because Georgia jobs and Georgia's economic growth were at stake. Again, 2,600 skilled jobs in and around Commerce, Georgia. This will be vital employment, generating wealth, generating opportunity for Northeast Georgia and statewide for decades to come. And David, this is going to attract other firms in the clean energy space to build and locate facilities in Georgia and create more jobs. These supply chains that are becoming increasingly integrated, the fact that we have electric vehicle battery production, one of the most significant production capacities now moving into Georgia, means that other firms involved in the electric vehicle space and the clean energy space are going to come to Georgia. I welcome them to Georgia and look forward to working with them to create more jobs in Georgia.
Senator, it was widely reported beforehand that LG was insisting that the deal totaled $3 billion. I don't know how much is confidential, how much not, but did it basically get what it wanted?
So the agreed settlement was a $1.8 billion payment from SK to LG, and the matter before the International Trade Commission has been resolved. And as your viewers who have been involved in complex, high-stakes negotiations know, moving those numbers over time takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of pressure. Both parties need to understand that their incentives are aligned so that they need a deal, and it takes a deadline. And it was with the clock ticking, just less than 24 hours to go until that plant might have been shuttered, that we were able to get a favorable resolution, save the plant in Commerce, Georgia, end the intellectual property dispute, and make a huge step forward for clean energy technology, electric vehicle production in the United States.